All right, welcome back. Mike Tyson, unbelievably, is going to enter into the top 10 of the WBC heavyweight rankings. Somewhere near and close to Deontay Wilder, according to Mauricio Suleiman, the president of the WBC. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back. Mauricio Suleiman says that Mike Tyson is entering into the top 10 of the WBC rankings. Somewhere near Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder is number 1 in the WBC rankings. And just in case you're confused, I'm not talking about some new Mike Tyson, somebody named after Mike Tyson, some kid that was inspired, whose daddy was inspired by Mike Tyson. I'm talking about the real Mike Tyson, the guy that has not been in the boxing ring in dang near 20 years and has no shot whatsoever of beating anybody in the top 50 of the WBC, is going to be ranked in the top 10. Before we get into this ridiculousness, I want to say special thank you to everybody that subscribed to the channel and everybody that supports the channel in Patreon, everybody that supports the channel through the live streams we do Monday through Friday and OG Boxing Talk on Sunday, and everybody that has joined and supports as a channel member. Thank you guys so much for all your support. Now, let's look at this. The reason that Mauricio Suleiman says that this is possible is because ex-champions always have the ability to come back, to fight. They are welcome with open arms by the World Boxing Council, by the WBC. They had belts that are specifically for this purpose, right? You have the franchise belt. The franchise belt is something that they just developed last year, 2019, which would allow fighters that they think are very important to the sport of boxing to always be considered a WBC champion in their weight class, even if they no longer fight in their weight class. As long as they are fighting somewhere out in the world, it could be if they're the 160-pound champion like Vasily Lomachenko, he can fight at 126 for the WBO title, and he would still be the 135-pound franchise champion. He can fight at 140. He can fight at 130. He never has to fight again at 135 pounds, but yet he is still the champion. So that is the WBC in one instance showing their love of certain fighters who they think bring special consideration, right, to the sport of boxing. The money. Same thing with Canelo Alvarez. They did it with Vitaly Klitschko when Vitaly Klitschko retired. He stayed champion emeritus, right? If they want to keep a champion because he was injured, they will give them champion in recess. So they have all kind of different ways in which a guy that does not have to defend a belt, and for a belt that virtually means nothing, can be awarded to you by the WBC. That is how they roll. So, but this still, with all of that in mind, is still shocking. Not because they would, from the perspective of trying to recognize Mike Tyson. If Mike Tyson had a exhibition fight, or God forbid, he actually had a legitimate fight, a real fight, right? Then, hey, I'm sure the WBC could walk in with a new belt, the Mike Tyson belt, the Brooklyn belt, the Weed belt, whatever it is, whatever belt they're going to make to give to Mike Tyson so that the WBC can be in the ring and smiling with Mike Tyson and push forward their brand. I'm sure that they will do. But the problem here for me is this. What about the fighters that are not in the top 10? What about the fighters? What about the fighter that when Mike Tyson goes to number 10, leaves the top 10? What about them? Why should rankings be about the popularity of a fighter or the accomplishments of a fighter that took place 40 years ago, 35 years ago? Mike Tyson won his first championship somewhere around 1984, 1985. That was 35 years ago. 35 years ago. Mike Tyson has been out of his prime Mike Tyson for at least 30 years. So to put him in the rankings in the top 10 is a spit in the face. It's a spit in the face to every fighter in the top 10. It's a spit in the face to everybody in the top 10. You're going to have Mike Tyson could be ranked above Luis Ortiz. It's bananas. But now the WBC is not the only people that have in their rankings ridiculous. I mean, just things if you go through, because I understand that many people don't actually look at the rankings for the sanctioning bodies. But I, on occasion, make sure, once a month, maybe once every other month, I go through and I just skim the rankings for the WBC, the WBA, the IBF, and the WBO. And every once in a while, certain things just stick out like huge sore thumbs. For example, if you look, I don't know if it's the case now, I'd have to look again, but there was a good amount of time that a guy named Fraser Kendo was ranked by the WBC. Fraser Kendo, and I don't care what Fraser Kendo's box rec says, Fraser Kendo's older than me. I used to go to, and I'm from the Chicago area. I got out of high school in the late 1980s. Before I got out of high school, I would still go to parties in the city of Chicago, right? And I would see Fraser Kendo there, standing there, bigger than me with a mustache, listening to Ferris Thomas spin the wheels. But yet, and I do believe he might still be up there, but hasn't been in a fight in, what has it been, 10 years since he fought and he's still there? But Fraser Kendo, yeah, it's a lawsuit and all of this stuff was going on with Fraser Kendo. But then you also have right now in the WBA, you have as the number 2 guy in the WBA for the 154-pound title, the number 2 guy, his record is a whopping 4-0. 4-0. And he is the number 2 ranked 154-pounder in the world with 4 fights. What in the world could he have possibly done in 4 fights that would put him over the likes of Tony Harrison, put him over the likes of guys like J-Rock, put him over the likes of all of guys like Aries Landy Lara, the former WBA 154-pound champion? It just makes you think, what are these guys doing with their rankings? Like, I know you have committees. I read in the rules that they have committees that vote on the rankings. But what criteria do you have for somebody to consider somebody in that vote? They can't possibly be voting over every fighter in the world, because then you would see that the rankings would be somewhat similar. It has to be something that's connected with some intangible things going on, or very tangible things going on with those sanctioning bodies to make that happen. Now, I know that they are for-profit organizations and they have to pay bills, they got to pay salaries, but maybe that's why, you need to get rid of some of those. But the WBC, now let's look at this from the aspect of Deontay Wilder. He's going to put Mike Tyson somewhere around Deontay Wilder in the rankings for the WBC. Deontay Wilder would literally kill Mike Tyson in the ring. Literally kill him. I do not believe that Tyson Fury that there's any possibility whatsoever of Mike Tyson getting into a ring with Deontay Wilder and coming out of it and staying in there the whole time in a state of being fully conscious. I don't even think that's possible. I don't think Mike Tyson would beat Dillian White. I know he wouldn't beat Dillian White. I know he's not beating Daniel Dubois. I know he's not beating Michael Hunter. I know he's not beating Joe Joyce. I know he's not beating Daniel Dubois. I know he's not beating Tony Yoka. I know he's not beating Robert Helenius. I know he's not beating Luis Ortiz. I know he's not beating Derek Chisora. I know he's not beating Carlos Takam, Joseph Parker. Go on and on and on with current heavyweights. Huey Fury. He's not beating any of those guys. Why would you just, for some reason out of respect, that's nothing but publicity, would be the reason that you would put Mike Tyson in those rankings? And there's just nothing else. I mean, it's just stupidity on his face. But anyway, you let me know what you think in the comment section. Does Mike Tyson deserve to be in the top 10 or top 15 or top 20 or top 50 of the WBC coming back? Absolutely ridiculous. But that's my opinion. You share yours with mine. You share yours with me. And with that, I'm out. Peace.